I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Hampton, what are we? We're not the PTA, we're the school board. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first order of business is to call for any public comment on agenda items. Seeing none, we will table the remainder of the 30 minutes to the end of our public meeting. Let's move on to school board member updates. Molly, do we have anything on budget committee we want to kind of tell the world?
I would love to remind everyone who's interested in the budget process to tune into the budget committee meetings on Channel 22 for the town municipal budget, which the school will present our budget, and then we're going to be doing our budget meeting soon, so you can also follow along there. I do have an update for MPIC. So the Master Plan Implementation Committee, they're hosting a charrette. So they want to get input from the community on the downtown area and brainstorming for the future. They have a group of professionals who are coming to help assist in curating these ideas as they develop a plan moving forward. Center School is a part of the designated downtown area. So I think it's really important for our community in the school and just anyone who's in our schools as part of this community. It's huge. It'll be on Friday, October 17th at the Best Western Conference Room at 815 Lafayette Road from 3 to 4 p.m. You're invited to come share your thoughts, and there'll be a second public session 6 to 7:30 p.m. that same day. So really encourage anyone to come and share what they think would be good for our town.
Awesome, thank you. Okay.
For curriculum committee reviewed ways that the new math program is progressing. Everyday Math and Numbers World is being used at Center in Marston, basically just to, again, improve instruction and use assessments to increase student achievement. It sounds like fun, because it sounds like it's a lot more hands-on and interactive, which I think students enjoy that a lot more than just sitting there with pencil and paper. The schools are starting to get their first set of data from assessments. Hampton Academy staff is also trying to make things a lot more interactive. All schools are trying to be intentionally proactive by using intervention blocks of time, differentiated instruction, and also a lot of interdisciplinary methods, which has been used in the past but continue to be used. And I do have to admit that, again, I get all anxious and all nerved up when they mention fractions, decimals, and word problems, but I'll get over that. That's my problem, not theirs. That's it.
Awesome, thank you. I do have a comment. So actually, it's more of a question. All my school board members, do you guys all get the New Hampshire School Board Association emails? Does everybody get those? I would strongly recommend that everybody take a couple of minutes and go through their legislative reports. They just finished up with the submission of all the proposed bills for the year, and they are well over 1,000, and a lot of them will have an outsized impact on the education community in New Hampshire.
Can I just follow up?
Of course.
So there are a couple of bills that I would bring to your attention. One is specific to us in that they are looking to consolidate SAUs.
Yes.
I'm not sure where this will go, but the plan would be to consolidate, and I think I shared with you one of the ideas that's on the table right now. So we're kind of that's one that we're all watching. That I know it's a study to figure out if they can do this, but it's the impact it would have, I think, on, many districts around the state. Just something to be watchful for.
And I think their full report, I think, is due in November, which is very fast.
Yep.
I would say for that type of group. So.
Yep.
So
They're looking at 12 districts in the state.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so
essentially one for each county, and then one for Manchester, one for Nashua? they're guessing?
It's by population. There would be
Okay.
2 for Rockingham County,
Okay.
given our size. But yes, there'd be 1 per county in general, and then with the exception of Nashua, Manchester, would they be their own because of the numbers?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting concept, which, there were many more questions that have arisen because of the study itself. So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have a policy meeting this month?
We did. We did. And we have,
guys-
we have some policies tonight that you'll see in our packet, and we have second reads on some. One is
We'll
going
discuss.
to legal, just for their input, and we're trying to firm up outside users just to make sure that we can have the language we would like.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but,
Okay.
yeah, things are in process.
All right. Andrew, do you have anything on professional development?
It's really because of the time difference and how, I'm glad you brought it up, because it's really about cross-grade level discussions. That's really not, we're not able to do it just because of the times, but it's something we may have an opportunity to talk about when we talk about the calendar and we look at the PD days, so we'll go there. I also, just along that line, I put in an agenda so you could see what demonstrated success looks like under my report, just because it just gives you an example of how that half-day is used. So, just for your information. Yeah.
One of the things I think that teachers feel is that the half-days are great in some respect, but in other respects, and from my own personal experience, a teacher teaches a full day of work and just smushes it into a half-day, and then has to go and do more professional development. It is a long day. Again, I'm just going on, for instance, half-day going down and doing the community beach cleanup, and then everybody came back, and then, oh, yeah, the kids are gone, but now the teachers have 2.5 more hours or whatever of work to do. But again, you have to look at what parents have to deal with either a full day or a half day as well. So, and we also have to put it in conjunction with SAU16 and all of that. So it's a topic we have to still kind of look at and fine tune.
All right. PTA, we were talking a little bit before we got started about the trunk or treat. So everybody who doesn't know, that will be on October 25th, which is not this Saturday, but the next, is that right?
Yes.
From 4 to 6 at Marston. They are taking candy donations. You can drop those off at the library or at any of the schools. And they are still looking for volunteers, absolutely.
And also, people should make sure to remember to contact the PTA through the PTA and not through the schools. That was something that I guess was getting a little bit confusing for people, that they were trying to contact the PTA through schools, and you have to definitely go through the PTA.
Yep.
Is it Hampton PTA?
Yep.
Right. And yeah, they talked about the Frosty Fair coming up for Center in Marston, I believe is on the 18th
Okay.
of December. And so, of course, they'll be looking for that. And again, we want to thank the PTA for a lot of the support that they do, like the cooking club. And I know she was giving out checks tonight, so it was like, we have an awesome PTA. We really do. And obviously, they're looking for more people to join, but, yeah,
All right.
wonderful.
Awesome. All right, what else do we have? Rec Department, as always, has lots going on. The biggest thing is they are getting ready for the tree lighting on December 5th. That's going to be an expanded event from last year. They've put lighting up over there. There's all kind of, a lot of great additional things that are going to be going on over there. We don't have anything for C. I think we don't really have much. We have stuff to talk about for steering, but that's on the agenda. And do you have anything for wellness, Andrea, that you want to?
Each school representative spoke about how their staffs are meeting wellness goals, and there were things like the gratitude walls and gratitude walks, hydration stations, fitness bingo, book club. I think the book that I heard was The River is Waiting, but I would absolutely, after just finishing the book, let them highly, highly recommend that to anyone, because that's going to be one that we as a town have a book club on that. Potlucks, the PTA has done coffee bars in each of the school, and I found out tonight, of course, the PTA is more than happy to continue that. I thought the staff was going to have to take that under, continue it, but the PTA said they were going to take care of that, so that is very much appreciated. And future ideas were things like staff hikes, yoga clubs, skating, cross-country. And also they talked about the health trust and making sure that teachers and staff make use of the sites on the health trust website, which can get them reimbursement for money. And it's not being used as much as it could be.
Awesome, thank you. Does anybody have anything else while we're in updates?
Well, Mariah might talk about it tonight, but all of those wellness initiatives do pay off because we did get our rates, and it is based on claims. And if we can be proactive in making sure people are taking care of themselves, that does go a long way. And we were pretty pleased with where the rates fell for next year. So that'll be some good news that she'll be able to share at her report. And you're going to do that tonight, right? I will. All right, awesome. Thank you. Yep, so that's some good news that we can look forward to hearing.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with our reports. Mr. Robitaille, please join us.
Good evening, everyone. And just to go along with the coffee bars being stocked, that was very generous of the PTA, and they did leave us with a lot of goodies to kind of keep the year rolling. So certainly appreciated at Center School for them kind of cleaning that area up for us. You have my report, but some just areas I wanted to highlight. We're putting a bigger emphasis on our SOAR rules this year now that I'm in year 2, and it's something that's been around at Center for a long time, but I'm trying to revitalize that a little bit, so incorporating that into our morning announcements. We had a big kickoff at our all-school meeting, but just trying to get those universal expectations around the building, as soon as the kids get to school, either in preschool or kindergarten. Something I wanted to highlight that Mrs. Hayward and myself did throughout September as we got into every room. We read the book, One Word for Kids, a great way to have your best year ever. And then our intervention team did a fun art project in which the kids thought of a word that they wanted to kind of use as their shining light for the school year. And then we did, next time you're in our hallways on the way to the cafeteria, we did a neat little classroom collage of the kids holding up their words. And you'd be surprised they came up with some really good ones that you might expect would be difficult for kindergarten, first grade, second grade to come up with. Preschool, we just got into the rooms, read books, and kind of hung out and got to know them. But just a fun little activity we did to start off the school year. Our Tier 2 and Tier 3 groupings are underway. So as we've had that data come in, we've been able to shape our Tier 2 groups. Our Fun Fitness Friday program has continued, so that's up and running every Friday morning. We rotate a grade level. The students get fresh air, get to move around our outdoor track to kind of start their day. So kids always look forward to that. We had a great turnout at our September 25th open house. Again, a big thank you to all our families, parents, trusted adults that came out and showed their interest in our children's schooling. And then our walk to school day did get postponed. That's actually tomorrow, so we did send out a blast just reminding people we're looking forward to having drier weather. Of course, it was the 1 day or 2 days that it's rained since the school year started, but we'll be flexible. Center school staff did have barricade training last Friday under the safety portion of my report. SRO Officer Terenzoni came over, so he did a great job. He worked with groups of staff in different groupings based on where they are in the building. As you know, the building is very old, so some of the doors don't all open the same way, so we kind of grouped people depending on where they are in the building, so they all had some good takeaways. I know Mr. Harrington's not here tonight, but the dedicated outdoor air systems were installed yesterday via crane, so those are now on the 2 roofing areas in which they needed to be put in. They will be testing and wrapping up some of the punch list items that they have not gotten to from now through like mid-November. So it's good to see those up on the roof. It'll be even better when they're on. We had to turn the boilers on today because it was rather cold. So just keeping up with center school and the facility itself. And we have just start getting it out there now. We have our Halloween parade that will be on Friday, October 31st. It falls on Halloween this year, so a lot of good stuff going on, busy, and keeping up with that building. I don't know if anybody has any questions based off my report for this month.
I think we're good.
All righty, have a good night. Thank you.
Come on down. This is a good time actually to remind everyone, especially, you're okay, especially when we have new families to the district, that trick-or-treating in Hampton is always on Halloween. It does, other towns kind of near us might go a couple of days before, but Hampton's always on Halloween.
Fantastic. Hello.
All right, hi.
I'm just kind of getting a great start to our school year. You know, a lot happening over at Marston. October feels like a very busy month, but in a good way, with field trips and extended learning opportunities taking place. A few things that are kind of big going on is our mentor groups start back up on Friday. So I've talked about this in the past, but we pretty much split up into 38 different groups. We give almost every individual a small group of students, and the point of that is for them to have another connected adult in the building and also have a peer group that they might not normally interact with, you know, throughout 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. So that will take place starting this Friday and then pretty regularly throughout the school year. It's built into our master schedule. We will also this month have our Oveus kickoff. It's called the Celebration of Kindness, like every year. It's pretty aligned with the dates of Red Ribbon Week. Red Ribbon Week is a little older for our age group, but we do talk about making good choices, and part of that is how we treat one another, and that ties nicely into our Oveus bully prevention program. So that always falls in October, and it's just a great month where we start to get into, you know, more of our zones of regulation lessons, our Oveus lessons, and things like that at this time of year. A few updates, as Mr. Robitaille said, Walk to School Day tomorrow. Picture Retake Day will be on the 29th, so just so you know. And at Marston, we always celebrate Halloween with a orange and black warm spirit day, but more information will come out about that in advance. Otherwise, you know, it's been a really fantastic start to the school year, and looking forward to any questions you might have.
We're good.
There, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, great start to the school year over at Hampton Academy. September 11th, we started off with a great speaker. Tim Coverly came in and really emphasized our themes of empathy and respect for the year. He gave a pretty profound school-wide speech, and it was great to see everyone take a stand at the end of the assembly to stand against bullying. Really sparked conversation for a lot of kids, so it was definitely something that we really enjoyed. Our open house on Thursday was excellent. Thank you so much for everyone who came. It was great to see all the support from everyone in the building, and getting to know the teachers, and allowing our parents to get to know the teachers and all the things that we do. Thursday we also had our movie night out back, which was a big success. We had a beautiful night, great weather. It was great to have the community in the back. Thanks to Miss Mooney and Miss Bullard for putting that all together. We had a great night. Food trucks were great. Thank you very much to the Junkyard food truck, and also to Kona Ice for helping us out. A little cold for the Kona Ice, so but the kids thoroughly enjoyed that. On Friday was our community day. We went down to Main Beach, and collectively, as we worked with the Surf Rider Foundation, we collected 120 pounds of trash off the beach. We're working to process that data and bring it back into the classrooms to talk about statistics and graphing those things, and really using that back into the classroom to teach other things that we've done. The students and the staff really enjoyed the opportunity. Again, we got really great weather there, and it was a huge success. thank you very much to the Surfrider Foundation. Mr. Gripper, one of our paraprofessionals, really helped organize and collect all the data, so we're excited to see where that goes. Our environmental camp is going to be the 21st through the 24th for our 6th graders. Red Ribbon Week will follow the 27th to the 31st. We're tying in themes of bullying, and normally Red Ribbon Week is an opportunity to take a stand against drugs, but we really want to bring in an opportunity to again talk about bullying in our schools. Besides that, progress reports will go out the 17th. On the ski club meeting will be on 10/29 on the 29th at 6 p.m. here in the cafeteria. I will be holding a coffee and conversation at 1 to 1:45 tomorrow. If anyone cannot make it or meet on the Google Zoom, please just reach out to me. I'll be happy to meet with you. Again, we are trying to vary those times to meet different work schedules. And our picture retake day will be on 10:30 here. So you should have my report, but I will open it up to questions.
All right, let's talk about environmental camp. I'm going to cough my way through it, but that's okay. So our first big overnight field trip of the year. So some questions, and if you don't have the numbers, that's fine. Let's start with, in general, how many kids are going and or not going?
We don't have the final numbers altogether, but we do expect a large portion of our students to go. Again, we try not to make money an issue, so anyone
Right.
who's reached out, I can get those numbers for you exactly. I don't know off the top of my head right now.
I'm just
but,
I was, I guess personally just sort of curious if
Usually-
the numbers were about the same.
Typically,
as they
they
have been,
are
if
about-
it stayed steady.
Yeah, 8 to 10% stay back, so.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about the nurse. Sorry.
We have posted a nurse position. We have not had a successful candidate. I have reached out to Supplemental Healthcare, who was able to quote me for both trips. They go by an hourly rate, so we do have a wide range. They were able to knock some things down, but for environmental camp, a rough estimate quote they said was about $5,500. For both camps, they said anywhere from about $10,000 to $15,000, depending on how much that would go. So that's just one of the companies that I had heard back from. Like we said, we do have a posting up on our website if anybody be interested in stepping in there. But that was just when talking with Supplemental Healthcare, they usually charge about $85 an hour to offset the overnight costs they do on call, which will bump it down to $50 an hour. And, there's that wide range just in case they do get called in, because if they do get called in overnight, that rate goes back to $80 an hour. So rates are different in states, and so that is just a rough estimate of what we got for our from Supplemental Healthcare. Continuing to reach out to people, to other companies. This is just one that had gotten back to me, and we're trying our best to find a better way to do it. But if anyone wants to apply, the position is open on the website and through EdJobs.
So they're leaving 2 weeks from yesterday,
Actually,
today?
A week from yesterday.
A week, so they're going the week, are they going the
They
week
leave
before?
on Tuesday, so the 21st.
Oh, they're going the week before Halloween. Well,
Yes.
for a lot of years, they've gone the week of Halloween.
Yeah.
No, this year.
So we've got a week. So I guess my question is this, right this minute, we don't have a nurse who is going.
Correct.
We an employee who is going.
Yeah.
So we have two options. You guys have two options. You can come up with $5,000 to $6,000, or we cannot have a nurse. So I guess I'm curious, with it being less than a week from now, what are you thinking? Because that's not a lot of time. And it's not a criticism at all. I know
Yeah.
you guys have been working to try to figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, working with Supplemental Healthcare, they've had a posting up for the position for over a month and a half now. And so they've had no hits on it.
Yeah.
We've had our posting up for about 3 weeks. We have one person who applied for the position. We had some interest conversations about it, and that candidate had found a position
Yep.
that was a little bit more long-term for them. And but yeah, so as of now, I think we the administration, I would take on the responsibility of administering medication. Right now, we are asking our parents to, if they sent in a medical form, to follow up with the proper medication, vice versa. If you have medication, please send in the proper medical form. And so, yeah, we're going to be doing our best to make sure that our students are being given the medication properly at the proper times.
My personal request, and I'm curious to see what everybody else thinks, I think there needs to be a direct communication with the sixth grade families that we do not think that there's going to be a nurse going on this trip. And that's fine. I think there are a lot of overnight field trips around the state that do not take a medical professional with them. But I know I think people might make different decisions about whether they want their child to go based on their health status. If you've got a student who's diabetic, for example.
Yeah.
Might not be as comfortable, with administration instead of a nurse. So, I don't know. Does anybody else have any comments or thoughts on it?
I would agree about the communication. I think that's an important thing for families to know. Have we opened it up to, I guess, like the district school nurses to attend, and then we would get a substitute nurse for them here?
We have.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it just is what it is. So, the nurses are not comfortable going on these trips.
I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be communicated to the parents
Yep.
that there's a good possibility that the principal will have to be responsible for taking care of the meds for all the children.
Yeah, I think will it be the assistant principal?
Assistant
I'm
principal,
guessing?
yeah, will
So
be
I think,
attending
I
this
think
trip.
Mrs. Levine will,
Yeah.
the plan is for you to go, right?
Correct.
Yep, awesome. Fundraising, how are we doing on fundraising for it? Just generally,
I think.
I assume fine, but.
Yeah, we're doing really good. Our calendars are up and running for our 8th graders. We had, like we said, the movie night on Thursday, which was helpful. We are collaborating, looking forward for the parent group to get up and running and be finalized with their end on the legal ends of things. I've been in communication with them last month, just about things that we can do to help. Our T-shirt fundraisers have been, there's a lot of people out and helpful. Our PTA is some of the best I've ever seen. I continue to say that they're great, and they support us in every way that we can. I'd like to give you better numbers once I get a better scope of things. I was out sick today, so
Yeah, I know.
I apologize.
Anybody have any other questions from Dr. Campbell while he's up here? All right, I think we're all set. Thanks for coming in
All right, thank you.
when you didn't feel great. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So, Ms. Jensen is out this evening, so let's look for Mr. Smith, please.
Good evening. I don't have much to add to the board report. It's all the typical stuff. Pretty much wrapping up some meetings with some of our vendors that we have just signed on with for this year, getting some training out of the way with them so we can implement everything. Also meeting with some of our vendors related to new enhancements that they have that may help us moving forward. And also starting to look at some equipment for possible refresh cycles that are due to come up within the next year or so. And that's pretty much where we're at with all that. So I open it up to questions.
I think we're all set.
Thank you.
Easy peasy. Okay, so Mr. Harrington is also out this evening, so we will move on to Mrs. Borg, please.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Two things, I guess, right as of today, our free and reduced numbers are 14%. It's a little bit lower than last year, but I'm getting, still applications are trickling in. So that's the first thing. And second, tomorrow's a big day. It's the New Hampshire Apple Crunch Day. So every child in this district that wants an apple Anyway, it's locally grown apples, and the state of New Hampshire tries to promote it through the state and hopefully kids will. Last year it was great. We did it at Marston as a first timer, and every kid took an apple. Every kid raised their hand, eating apples. So we're going to do it across the district this year. So that's tomorrow, and I'm excited too. So eat their apples on this. I don't really have too much. Just going through. What?
Does anybody else have any questions? So tell us about our freezer.
Oh. Oh, the freezer. So the freezer went down Saturday, and I got to back up. Luckily, our custodians, when they do the building checks, they always take the temperatures of the freezers. A lot of food service directors, they don't have that. A lot of districts don't have that.
That's amazing.
So anyway, he was checking, I think it was the new man, he was checking the freezer, and the numbers were up, and it was going to 18, 19, so we got the call, myself got the call. We came down, we didn't lose any food, we got all the food packed with the help of the custodians, and Michelle, my manager, took out all the food, got it to Marston, and today, the Dowling, who we use for our refrigeration, the company, I think we fixed it, but we'll see in the next day or two.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, so thank you for asking.
Awesome, no problem. The only other thing I had was related to free and reduced lunch,
Yes.
which is a reminder to everyone,
yes.
particularly with the federal shutdown that is occurring, and people in our community have run out of paychecks. And so just as a
great.
reminder, even if what you're undergoing is,
Temporary.
in theory, a temporary change in circumstances, please contact Mrs. Borg. Do not put yourself into debt when you could instead apply for free and reduced lunch
Yes.
and use the resources that our district has available
Absolutely,
to you.
thank you.
And then when
Yes.
you're back on your feet, that's fine. You don't have to.
You don't have to, right.
Don't have to use it. But please,
Please.
if anybody out there needs it, please contact Mrs. Borg.
Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Good night.
Good night. No, we're good. Thank you. All right. So, Dr. Casa.
Okay, thank you for doing that. I know I put it in my newsletter, but it's always good to remind our families. So we'll talk in a bit about our goals. We had 2 meetings this month, actually last month, the 10th and the 24th, to talk about what we did last year, what we accomplished, and how we hope to move this year. So had some input from the people that were there. I know, Andrea, you came, and looking for your feedback tonight to make sure that we're moving in a direction that the board is hoping that we move in. From there, the schools will develop their school goals, so it's important that we get these right. It keeps everything in alignment, and it just provides clarity to everyone in terms of what we're focusing on. You mentioned Let Them, and that is the Lane Library and the SAU90. That is our joint book read, and as of right now, we have about 30 people who have signed up, so we're really excited about that. November 4th will be our first meeting. It'll be the first Tuesday of the month. It'll be from 7 to 8 o'clock, and it'll be here in this space, and we're looking forward to it. If we're small enough, we can be in the community room, but if we're over 30, we would go here. It's just a better, more comfortable space. So we're excited about that. We talked about the trunk or treating, which is fantastic. We're obviously very busy with the wellness. We did the Hit the Trail Challenge last week, where we had Erin, our administrative assistant, actually set up in all of the faculty rooms in the schools an opportunity for staff to make their own trail mix, which was kind of fun. And then she asked that they literally take a walk over the long weekend, hit the trails, and to take a picture just to promote healthy and wellness. And she did get a number of photos and lots of positive feedback, so we're really happy about that. We'll do some drawings for Dick's Sporting Good cards, which is all part of our health trust and just a way to promote healthy habits. So there's that going on. Schools had to submit their emergency operation plans. This is required by the Department of Ed and with Homeland Security, so they worked with Tim Harrington and to ensure that they were following those safety plans. You know that that one of the focus this year is to have a district-wide safety committee that we're working with our SROs under, and ensuring that our safety plans are moving forward, keeping in mind the physical safety of our buildings, that part of it. We also attached in our report the report that we submitted to the state, which was required last spring. Caleb Batchelor came down from the state to talk about one of the things that they wanted was us to have a safety report that included some things that traditionally hadn't been in there. So you'll see that between our joint loss and our employee safety handbooks, we have covered the requirements, but it gives you an idea of what's on file with the state. I submitted it for you. Our goal this year is to combine them and to have one document, but for this year, this meets the requirement, and they were pleased with what we had done. So that was great to have that underway. Obviously, this month is Custodian Appreciation Day on October 2nd. Just a big thank you to Tim Harrington and the custodians for all that they do. The little things that you mentioned, Mary, checking to see if the freezers or the refrigerators are not up to par over the weekends. Those are the things that the staff does on their own without prompting, just because they do show that level of commitment and dedication. And as a result, we didn't lose any food. So we really do appreciate our custodians and want to, just take the opportunity to thank them for all that they do. Not just on October 2nd, but really throughout the school year, and try to do some little things. Like I know this summer, Mariah threw them a pizza party just to thank them for all the work over the summer, which just a way to show our gratitude. And then, of course, talked a little about the SABRS tool. This was a state-recommended tool, which is a way to screen kids who may be at risk, and using that screener, we're able to support our students, support our families, and to ensure that students are ready to learn. So that's something that we are continuing to do. It is online this year, which is brand new. They moved from paper and pencil to an online platform. So, and it is part of the Renaissance, which is our STAR assessment. So we did have a great relationship with them. We were able to get that up and running. So that was a change that teachers had to pivot to learn, but as a result, I think it's going to be an easier tool. It's going to be easier to access data and to really track how kids are doing in our district. So just want to bring that to your attention. And then it is Bully Prevention Month, and it's not just at this time of year that we are focused on bully prevention, but really we are looking at the health and safety of kids every day and making sure that people do and children feel comfortable coming to school. I know that this is an ongoing initiative for all schools for many reasons. And then, of course, one of the things that we've been talking about is Seacoast Youth Services, and that is a new facility that is now opened in Exeter on Holland Way. You may remember Janine Richards, Vic Maloney. Janine was the former outreach worker for our district. She is now one of the curriculum directors over there, and Vic Maloney, who was part of the diversions program down in Seabrook. They've opened this beautiful facility, and they've been in touch with our mental health team, Neil and Amber, to talk about potentially using some Title IV money to support our students who may need more support, and this could be an option for kids who need a therapeutic setting. It would be, obviously, parents would have to agree to it because they would have to drive it. There is no transportation there, so it would have to be agreed upon by our families. It's not something we would do without being very thoughtful, because it's not in the budget, and we have a limited title budget for it, but it could be a real benefit to our children who are just struggling with learning and can't access curriculum and may need more intensive needs and services. So this is just an option, and I'm really happy that the relationship is there and that we have this right here in our backyard, right in Exeter. It's a great thing for the community, and it's a great thing for Hampton students. So just to make you aware of that. And then our third goal, which is specifically related to curriculum and professional practice, I talked a lot about at the beginning of the year how we are really looking at those starting points, those data points to see where kids are given the summer slide. It's amazing that some kids do just fine depending on what they've been doing over the summer, and some kids really have these gaps now. So working with the teachers and making sure that we're giving children the support they need and being mindful of what differentiated instruction looks like for students that are working above level or working below level, and making sure that we are meeting them where they're at. So that's been a big conversation for us, and differentiation is a huge goal for our district this year. Talked a little bit about New Hampshire SAS. Those scores will be released shortly. I know that Hampton Academy and Marsden will coordinate, and when they send out those reports to our families so that families can expect to get those soon. We talked about the everyday math. Andrea, you spoke about that. Having some meetings to make sure that staff is feeling comfortable K-5 implementing this new math series. And then, of course, we talked a little bit about job descriptions that are in there for you. And then, of course, we have our budget, which will start tomorrow night. We will be going through our budget process, and it's tomorrow night. Yep. So that's on my calendar. So that being what it is, 6 to 8. So we'll have that opportunity to dive into that tomorrow night. But I can tell you that the leadership team worked a number of days, a number of sessions to start at zero and to really build the budget, which we are required to do by law, which we have always done. But we take this very seriously. We start with numbers and students and classes and go from there. And you'll see that there was really a thoughtful process where we were really looking at, are there places for cost savings? And then, of course, what are the drivers that could impact the budget? And we'll talk more about that tomorrow night. We also talked about warrant articles in the sense that, you know, we don't see huge changes, although one of the ones that we are looking at is, of course, our maintenance one, given the fact that that has been $300,000 for the last 25 years, and the fact that we are not able to do some of the things that we really need to do around flooring, windows, et cetera. And that was a conversation that we had with even the budget committee. I know, Molly, you were there that day, and we talked about it. So when you go into Marsden School and you see the beautiful foyer, and then it stops because we ran out of money and the tile just doesn't go any further, I mean, this is real. I mean, we literally ran out of money. We had hoped to do windows. Unfortunately, we know that the project at Central School was far more than we thought it would be because of the asbestos abatement that had to take place. So again, we dip into that $300,000 and we aren't able to do floors, we aren't able to do lighting, we aren't able to do windows. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, but beyond that, our numbers are fairly flat. So we're trying to conserve the money where we can and be judicious about where we think we need to add a little more. And it'll be up to the voters too, as it relates to that warrant article. And I think, you know, Tim Harrington is also being very conscientious in the sense that he is our new leader, and he wants to be mindful as a Hampton resident, and knowing that for some people these are hard times, as we just talked about, free and reduced lunches and whatnot. So we're looking forward to that conversation tomorrow night. There is a lot of things that will come up, but we do have a number of donations. We could do that next.
Do we need to, let's see. So,
Can I just make one quick comment?
Oh, absolutely, please.
The book that you've talked about, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, I just want to let people know this isn't just a book for, let's say, teachers or administrators, or, as a matter of fact, when I started into it, I was looking at it going, well, you know, all right, I get it. But this doesn't have to really do with education, like the anxious generation or something like that. This is a book that everybody really, really should read. It's for everybody. It's not just for people in education or parents. It's for everybody. So
Agreed.
I just want to put it right out there that The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, I highly recommend it, and I think everyone should read it.
And I do have several copies left in the SAU office. I know Cam is probably getting down there because,
Yeah, I think we're getting a little low, but I do think we still have,
Yep.
have a few, so.
so we have a few copies, and we're happy to give them to you. So let me know and reach out to Cam. We'd love to have you join us. It's been on the bestseller for many, 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 many weeks. And in fact, we are doing a spotlight on that, and the person from our PR firm asked me, why did we choose this book? And I think we chose this book because we feel it's the right book at the right time. It's really about empowering people to control what they can control in a world that sometimes it feels like there are so many things out of our control, but it's really about empowering yourself to what can you let go of and what really deserves your time and attention. So I think it's a good message for everybody. I think it's just a great, easy read, and yeah. Yeah. It is an easy read,
I'm
yeah.
about halfway through. Do we need to do anything related to this letter to the select board about the,
No,
That's
that's
just-
just for
that's
your
just
information.
informational.
Yep, that's
Okay,
for
all
your
right.
information. I'd
Okay.
just like you to see that so you know what we're doing. Yeah, yeah.
okay, so I think we've got 3 checks total, one for center school. Let's
We
see,
do,
have
we
3?
do.
Yep, let's
So
make sure, one
we-
for center school for 500 for the central library from
Correct.
Hampton PTA.
Yep.
And 2 for the academy, $250 for the makerspace, and $500 for the library.
Yep.
So I would suggest that we just approve all of those at one time. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept all of those wonderful, generous checks.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? All right.
We also have one more.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
missed that one.
there is another one from the Hampton Chamber of Commerce
Oh, sorry.
to Hampton Academy as well. So we really appreciate, obviously, our chamber friends, John Nyan, and those that came over, Rusty Bridle, to present the $500 check as well.
And what was that for? Just
It was money that they
Just a
raised from the
general?
Seafood Festival, and I believe they are asking that it can go to some of the expensive with field trips.
field trip?
8th grade, yeah.
8th grade
So for the
volunteers.
8th grade,
Awesome.
Washington, yeah, field
Okay,
trip for the
sorry.
Seafood Festival.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to accept that check from the Hampton Area Chamber of Commerce
Second.
with great appreciation.
With much appreciation, yes. All in favor? Okay.
Just because there was a number of attachments to my report, I'll just,
One or 2.
yeah, just a one or two. But I sometimes feel like, I just want you to be aware of, these are the things that the Department of Ed does have us do. It's filed on your behalf. So I'd just like you to be aware of it. That's why I put them in there for you. And then, of course, we thought where we spent some time updating the job descriptions last year, and you do the professional hiring. We thought it was important that you also see those as well, just again as a first read, and then you are more than welcome to give us any feedback you might have. And Andrea, I will make sure that if we do not have the one that you brought to my attention, that we do have it, and that would be the office secretary at Hampton Academy.
Front office.
Yeah.
I think that's the one that was missing.
Yep, so we can check for that. I made a note of it as well. So we'll do that.
If it wasn't that one, it was the principal's secretary.
Yep,
It was
and we
one
can
of
look at
those.
that, for sure.
The Hampton Academy.
Yep.
Do you want to go ahead and talk about goals
Yep.
while we're,
Yeah. So as I was talking, and please chime in, Andrea, you were there as well. So as I was talking, we did this in 2 meetings, and this is historically, this came out of a very intensive, visioning process, these goals. And so last year, we had 4 goals. We decided to collapse the 3rd goal into the 4th goal. And so we have 3 goals around communication, physical and emotional safety, and professional practice. So one of the things that has been brought to my attention is that we like to really highlight things that might be new or things that we really are trying to focus on. So things that we're carrying over from last year probably wouldn't be on these goals. And it's not to say that we're not focusing on them. It just means that it's becoming embedded into our practice. And so, but we're happy to add them. So for example, if you look at communication, some of the things that we're wanting to do is how do we improve our parental support for learning? And one of the things that we're doing is obviously we're looking at the website. We're doing a complete audit of our student and family handbooks. That's in process as we speak. That will take a good amount of time. And Erin Allen has taken on that too and is really looking at what other districts do. Are there things that are missing? Are there things we should add? So there's the audit of that. And then, of course, one of the things we'd like to do is we would like to have some feedback, and that was talked about at our meetings, that are we hearing from parents? Are we hearing from students? So we're looking at, do we do exit slips at the end of 2nd grade, 5th grade, and 8th grade to hear what families have to say? Are there things that they want us to think about? I know when I was the principal at Marsden School, I would ask my 5th graders and my 5th grade parents, what were some of the highlights of the year? What are some things that you would like to see changed? And what are some things that you would like to tell me? And I would say that, in 20 years, it was overall very positive. But however, there would always be these few nuggets that parents would share with me that really helped me to think about how I could maybe make a change for the following year. So I always appreciated it. So I had put down the word consider exit slips for parents of grades 2, 5, and 8. And then, of course, we always want to be expanding our partnerships, right? That's really important. We don't work in isolation. We work in collaboration. One of the things that came to my attention in my walkthrough last week was that Hampton Academy is going to be having an Interact Club, which is in collaboration with the Rotary, and I'm really proud of that because as somebody who goes to many Rotary meetings, I have great colleagues and friends that are on the Rotary. I'm a big fan, a big supporter, and Jim Doherty is in the Rotary this year, and it's one of the things that he wanted to do, and I'm delighted. In fact, John Nye and myself are going to go to the first meeting of the year with our Hampton Academy students, and it's giving our students an opportunity for leadership, but it's also giving us an opportunity to develop another partnership. So I'm really excited about that. So those kinds of things really enhance what we're trying to do, and I think it sends a very powerful message to our kids, right? That their voice really does matter. So we're always looking to do that. Next month, I'm going to share with you some data about the Cook Center, which I think you're going to be pretty excited about, the number of families that are accessing the Cook Center, which I will share next month so that you can see that what we're doing is working. And I was really pleased to see that because as we look at budget and we want to make sure that we're being good stewards of money, we want to make sure that if it's not working, we don't want to do it. It's kind of like when Tim Smith will run a usage report on apps, right, and all of those things. If it's not being used, you've got to reconsider. But I can tell you that there are many families and staff that are accessing the Cook Center, and I'm really happy to see that. Whether it's through their coaching or through their parent series or Ask a Therapist, all of those things are making a difference. And obviously, we will continue to address the changes in the laws because that does impact our policy, which impacts our practice. And then, of course, looking at our comprehensive communication plan and looking at a plan that aligns with policy EG, and looking at a link on a website that would be accessible to stakeholders. So really diving into that policy EG. It seems like it's in pieces, but it's really not maybe as user-friendly as it could be. And I know that's something that has come up here. So obviously welcome your input on that. And then we put, and this came out of our conversation, was how can we increase our student voice? And I think it's things like the Interact Club. It's things like, we used to do leadership at Marsden. How is it that we can make sure we're hearing our students? That came up. And then how can we increase opportunities for vertical teams to meet? Because that was another thing that came up in conversation at those steering committees. How do we get math conversations K-8? How do we get, science meetings K-8? Those kinds of things that are important to our teachers, but really impacts our students. And then moving on to physical and emotional safety. I think I shared with you that we do have a district safety team that is being led by SRO Zach Terenzoni and myself, and we're working through that. And you can see some of the actions that we have. We also have a district MTSS, which stands for a multi-tiered systems of support for behaviors that might be interfering with our students in their academics. So that's something that we're working through, and we're also working with the state on this. I will be going to a meeting on Thursday. This is a state initiative, and so it's something that several of us are involved with on a state level, just to hear their perspective and to get some guidance, just so you know about that. And then, of course, Sabres, which I had talked about earlier in my report, and that it has moved to an online web-based platform. We are onboarding staff this year. Again, like last year, we'll be administering that 3 times a year. And what we'll do is it will help us to determine tiers and interventions. And then the last goal is specifically related to curriculum and professional practice. And so the other part of multi-tiered systems of support has to do with academics. How are kids progressive with their academics, and how are we ensuring kids are closing achievement gaps and extending curriculum where we need to? So looking at that as well. And then about our mathematics program. And then we talked about differentiated instruction in terms of how we're doing that, and you have a sample of that in your packet for how we are working with demonstrated success. I did include that one for you as well. And then on the next page, on the back of it, Dina talked about the fact that our LEA determination requires us now to really look at how we are upholding processes, procedures, and compliance as it relates to special education. So this is something that we are working through this year, and she helped to develop some of those timelines that you can see that are there. And then last but not least, we talked about relooking at our teacher effectiveness plan to see if there might be an opportunity to provide teachers with more meaningful feedback. So that's what we came up with. And the next page shows you specifically how we would do professional development around differentiated instruction, because I know that that's something that we talk about a lot, and I just wanted you to get a sense of what does that look like from demonstrated success. So obviously, questions, comments, because from here, our principals will be developing their school goals, so I just want to make sure these are intact so that, we can make sure, we're doing our diligence and focusing on the right work.
These are on the website, right?
They will be once the draft is, but they will be once they
We have to
are.
approve them
Okay.
first.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
Sorry, these will be on
Yes.
the website.
Yep, they can be, absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions? I know, Sarah, we had talked a little bit about a communications plan.
Yep.
I know that's part of what they've been working on with this, so.
Yeah, I
Just-
guess if we could talk through how do we take a communication plan from a goal to, I guess, what does that development process look like? Who owns that? How are we measuring that? Is there a timeline around that?
So I guess I would like to know specifically if you could be clearer on that, because communication is a pretty broad topic, right? So I think we just, we got to drill down. I'm looking at the policy, so the policy breaks it down by what specific things we need to focus on. So if there's something beyond that, right, I think I need to know that, or if there's something that you want us to focus on, I think I need to know that, because I was going to follow the policy, because that's really what drives communication, right? Or if there's an area that we need to work on.
And they do have, so within the goals, they have a number of sort of specific actions,
Yep.
how they would be measured, what the time frame is for them, specifically who are the people who are responsible for it, and then what they think the outcomes would be for improved parental support for learning, expand partnerships, address changes in laws, and just comprehensive communication plan, which has Dr. Costa, policy committee, school board, and administrative leadership as the persons responsible for that.
Yeah, so I think really, I mean, when we met with the New Hampshire School Board rep and he explained what best practice was, he said that you should be continually evaluating your communication plan and make sure it's adhering to kind of common best practices. So I would assume that they have guidance around building out that program, since to my understanding, we don't have a communication plan. We just have that policy. But when I think of a communication plan, I think of a roadmap for what you can expect as a student, what you can expect as a faculty or staff member, what families and caregivers can expect, and then kind of reverse engineer from the outcomes you want to achieve. So a bunch of standards in place is a great place to start. Every email should have all contact information at the bottom. Standardized email addresses, a full audit of that. It should be really intuitive to reach out. And what I'm assuming is that the school board, the New Hampshire State School Board Association, has a sample communication plan that we could probably pull over and evaluate.
I don't actually. They have sample policies.
Okay.
I did poke around and look sort of to see what was available. There are a variety of schools across the state that have communication plans, and they vary widely.
Yep, I saw the same thing.
We will send emails and down to very detailed kind of nitty-gritty plans.
And I don't think we have to be super prescriptive about it, but just giving a roadmap.
Yep.
Of, we have, and I think that from where I sit as a parent, I will say that it has improved, where there's not 7 different apps that I need to sign up for at the beginning of the year, and I need to, train myself on each of those and whatever communication cadence I'm going to receive. But I do think if we set the expectation broadly, these are the times you should send out reminder emails, try to keep them to this cadence. Here is the master list. This is like a full website audit, and I don't want to say that it would require kind of a third party to look in, someone who's not super close to it, and say like, oh, I would, move this around, this isn't intuitive. But I would imagine we would want some kind of community feedback too, because I hear all the time that this is a huge issue for folks. But I'm not the full sample size of Hampton, certainly. It feels like a lot to me, but it's probably 4% of the people I could be speaking with. So, maybe it starts out with a learning exercise where it's a survey or an invitation, or it's a component of something we're already asking people to attend, like an open house, fill out these 3 questions kind of deal. But I think seeking input first and then starting from there. And it can be, it doesn't have to be this Herculean thing. It can be incremental, where we start with really basic and then we iterate and see how it goes and build from there. It can be like a living document.
Yeah, if you could just give, absolutely, we can definitely survey parents, not an issue. Hopefully, would love to hopefully get the feedback that we want. We know that surveys, I'll give you an example. We put a survey at the end of last year. I heard from 30 parents. So response is a piece, right? I think people are survey fatigued out.
Yep.
But at the same time, I definitely want to know if there's a communication, issue. The goal is to address it, But I get everything from you communicate too much to you communicate
Oh, yeah.
not enough. So
100%,
I think I'll be honest with you, as principals and superintendents, it really is hard to know what is that sweet spot. And I think it's very personalized. I think if you, depending on your style, it's what you like. And I also know that developmentally, where kids are at Center versus where they are at Hampton Academy, it's very different. So, when you're a Center parent, you're probably in communication with your teacher pretty regularly. You may be involved in the Hampton PDA, but and I saw this even at Marsden, right? But then as they get to Marsden, you pull back a little bit more. By the time they get to the middle school, there's a little more independence, there's a little more responsibility. So there is that difference too in styles. So I just know that I guess I need a little more guidance and direction, because we can definitely do the feedback. That's not an issue. But I guess I got to know that if we only hear from 30 people, how do we move forward?
Lois, did we have a goals meeting that we opened up and had people invited to?
We did.
To help
Yes.
work through some of this?
We did.
Okay. I just didn't know, because
Yeah.
that would be a great time to,
Yes.
like, make another committee or something.
And I think we have to be, I think we have to be a little bit careful. So a plan from us is a high level thing.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of things, we were talking about sort of the cadence of emails. And that's something that's going to be managed by a principal, an assistant principal, that I don't think we want to write into a document. How many emails per week?
No.
Right, exactly.
Not at all.
So
That's not
Yeah.
at all what I'm talking about.
Right.
This is more a best practices guide that you go to, not like a prescription that you adhere to. And I would say, like if I'm looking at a communication plan and I put out feelers and I get a really abysmal response rate to the tune of 30 people reaching back out, to me that's a huge data point that my current communication plan isn't going well, because I don't have a high degree of engagement. So even though you could say, well, people aren't really getting back to us, to me, that is a logical symptom of an opportunity to improve our communication. Really, if you have an engaged audience, you should be seeing much higher numbers anytime there's a call to action for people to participate. So I don't think it's, you send out 4 emails per week, they always happen before lunch, not that, just this is a template. If you have someone who's reaching out in frustration or anger, what's a good window? Ideally, when should you reply by? If you're a parent who is, and help me out here, I'm like drawing a blank on an instance, but if you are a parent who wants to drop something off at a school, what is your process at the door for even signing your kid out?
But again, that's very specific and very detailed.
And
so
it's
that's
also in the
something you
handbook.
would get in your, yes, in
It's in,
your
it's in,
student
but that's the
handbook.
stuff that's in the handbook.
Okay, so forget
That's-
all of those examples and just think of it around the way that we communicate.
Yep.
I mean, if everyone at this horseshoe thinks that we're knocking it out of the park, I will humbly rescind my opinion that I've heard echoed pretty consistently. But I think it would be silly not to do something just because it might be a little nebulous when we've heard repeatedly that would be helpful. And I think we want people to be engaged. We want people to be participating. And if we look into it and there's really like nothing we can do, then we can pivot.
I think you were going to say, both of you were going to say something, so I apologize. I think we tried to put some things in place, Sarah, and we follow a chain of command, right? That's what it is. I mean, that is what we did put in place. So when people have a complaint, it really has to follow a chain of command. And that's, but as far
sure.
as, but I think for the most part, we have an open door policy for the most part, or I try to have the open door policy. I mean,
Yeah, no, this isn't an indictment on anyone's availability or accessibility. It's more just, I think, if we don't have a communication plan and the school board association, I heard him say you should have one. And I think it doesn't have to be a big done-up thing. It doesn't have to be a survey. It could just be 5 things. How do we want to communicate? What are our goals for communication? Is our goal community engagement?
So
Three ways we can improve that.
we have, so that's what this document
Yeah.
is. These are our goals around communication. That's
Yeah.
what this is for. My suggestion, so under comprehensive communication plan, it lists Dr. Casa, policy committee, school board, and leadership team
Right.
for the persons responsible for creating a communication plan. So my suggestion is that I think this would be a great thing for you guys to discuss in the policy committee, is maybe
Agreed.
the 3 of you all come
Oh, yeah,
to your
that's
next
great.
meeting with some samples and some things that you would like to see.
Perfect.
I think that would be awesome. I think that's a great time, because I don't think in this meeting is where we come up with
Oh, no.
details for stuff like that. But I think that would be an awesome thing. And then see what you guys can put together and then bring them to the board.
Yeah.
Have you looked at other schools' stuff? Because the only,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of, like Wendy said,
it's
it's a
all over the
huge
place.
spectrum.
right?
Yep.
Like they're pretty,
Yep.
like if you get a basic one, they're basic and it's pretty
Yep.
much what we have. So I guess it's just kind of,
Well, we could
Going
put it
forward.
into words.
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you want to check with the school board association might have something, but I looked and I didn't see anything. So if you
yeah,
want
I didn't see,
touch
like, a
base with
policy. I
them,
don't know
we
if
can
they-
give you
yeah.
Will's information and see. They've got the policy, but I don't know that they've got sample plans.
And it does require that we do that, and it
Yeah.
really isn't
We
like.
should,
We
yes.
should. So I think we should, that there's an opportunity here.
Yep.
And then I think if we want to expand it, and we can certainly expand it, and we could even add it to a handbook, right?
yeah.
We could
Yes.
add it. So
It could be
there's-
anything.
There's the opportunity
It
there.
flows down. Right?
Yeah.
As far as just guidance, and I'm glad Sarah mentioned like the signatures and things, for like things we're looking for, from my perspective, I think that very high level, not strategic, that's not the right word,
Consistent.
yeah, consistency across the board. I would love to see that in a communications plan, even though it can vary from school to school, kind of like, this is what the sign-off should look like, and then each school can have their specific sign-off that we send out and make sure everybody has that copied into their footer, things like that. Little like baseline, just tightening it up as much as possible. I do think we do a good job on that. I'm not saying I don't think we do, but just having that
Having it
official
outlined,
plan,
yeah.
I think that's definitely the guidance I would give as my opinion on that one, just because you mentioned it,
Yeah.
jogged
Yeah.
my mind.
Even thinking of like, if you get an email, oops, the nurse, I think, maybe doesn't have her direct phone number. Like, it should just be a standard signature line. Here's my email, here's my phone number. This is my
Yeah.
extension. If you need to make a quick call,
100%.
it's all right
Yes.
there.
Yes, every school
Easy
personnel
stuff.
who sends something out should have their name, their title, obviously, you have their email address, but.
Well, sometimes
a
you don't, because
a
sometimes it comes
contact
via
phone
Reach My
number.
Teach.
Oh,
So-
that's true, yes, so their email address, the easiest way to get in touch with them, and maybe their hours that they're in,
Yeah.
something like that. So,
Candace, you had something.
Probably just repeating what Molly said and what a few others said, but I think the word is cohesion, across platforms, across the various schools. No, this is not an indictment on what anyone's doing. I think everybody's trying, but I think personally what I see is a lot of disjointedness. And I think that there's a difference from having a goal of easing communication, which is an admirable goal, and we should go for that, versus getting down in the nitty gritty and saying, you send this is your cadence. There's a really nice happy medium there. And I also understand that this is not the place to hash out what that actually looks like, but I also see some value in us discussing it so that the rest of the town knows, because obviously they're not privy to that meeting.
So I'd like to just say that this is going to be going, once we approve it, this is going to be going on the website.
Yep.
So I would highly encourage parents, especially ones that feel like the communication gap is not what it should be, to send suggestions, ideas, plans that maybe they've seen to the superintendent or to the board, or mostly to the superintendent. But I'm just saying, here's your chance. Please don't be only one of 30 people. If people are going to want better communication, we need you to communicate with us and tell us what you want.
yes, don't complain, communicate.
just
offer
tell
what
us
you
what you
want,
want, so
right?
we
I think
can
that's what
put
we all
together a
want, right?
communication plan that works for us and our schools and our parents and
Absolutely.
our students. But if we don't know it, because you haven't told us what you want, here's your chance. This is on the website, and it doesn't have to just be ideas about the communication. It could be ideas about any of the things that are in our goals.
And most things that I think parents are going to be concerned about are going to fall into these 3 goal areas. It's going to be around communication, it's going to be around safety, or it's going to be around curriculum.
But we need to know.
Right.
Actually,
So
are
here's
we
your
at the
chance.
point of needing to approve these? Or are they still, so is your group done? Are you presenting these to us for
Yeah.
approval tonight? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, does anyone have any questions, comments, changes, typos you would like to see made before we vote on them?
I'm questioning if it's policy EG, so that's me. I had, so I'm questioning if, I thought it was K something, KEG,
Let's see.
maybe.
I have, in theory, have that pulled up here. Well, except it's going to show me there are 35 instances of EG. Let's see, go ahead, yep.
So are we supposed to be, like, asking questions or offering feedback on any of this?
You can.
I guess the only thing I would just say is specifically under communication, only because I know we've been focusing on that a lot, is with the time frame. Of course, it's going to be ongoing. Is it possible to maybe say, with a goal of by year end,
Absolutely.
you know, that sort of, or whatever
Absolutely.
those timelines are?
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yep, it is.
It is, okay,
Yep,
perfect then.
That's right.
All right, so, yes, like, especially like if it's address changes in laws, probably will happen. But
That's all year,
right?
yeah.
But definitely like one that I see, like EG, the one we're talking about, absolutely. Like, I think definitely we could put that one.
If we want, yes, if we want to, we have time frame. Right now, the time frame for all of these is ongoing. If we want to put a specific time frame.
Absolutely.
I will say we've got budget is our big sort of time suck that is coming over the next month or so. We are going to talk about Dr. Costa's evaluation in a couple of minutes, so that's something we're also going to do over fall and spring. I'm sorry, fall and winter. So just keeping that in mind, thinking about what we would want the timeline to be. So,
We can start it and see how far we get. Like, we meet every month. We can just peck away at it.
do you want to make do you want to make a motion to make a change to the current text before we vote on it?
Yeah, I guess I would. I think I would like to see, even if it's by end of the school year, that we complete the audit of the website, the tools we're using to communicate with parents. And if this, I don't work in the school, so if this is crazy to ask for that,
No, it's good.
I understand. And then obviously we can work on policy EG in our policy meeting. So I'm sure we can come up with something
Absolutely.
faster than that, but.
Second.
What is the specific change?
Sorry, yeah, that was clear
Joey,
as mud.
under under time frame.
Yes, under time frame, I'd like to make a motion that our goal be to complete, like certainly under this first focus area, if we could complete that by year end.
So they won't all be, so for instance, expanding partnership, a lot of these will be ongoing.
Right. I think
he's talking
And
about
these
that one
are
specifically.
goals, so I think the idea is to complete them. It is a goal to work on these and complete them over the course of the school year, correct? But do we want, that's what I was thinking.
I
Yeah.
think improve parental support for learning and comprehensive communication plan. I'd love to see that by the year end.
Yep.
If that's possible.
So, change it to
Yeah,
by,
Yep, I can say by June 2026. How's
Okay.
that?
Do I need to second anything?
Sure.
I second it.
okay, so I think. Okay. With those changes, would anyone like to move that we approve the district goals for 25-26?
I'll make a motion to approve the district goals for 2025, 2026.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
There we go. Thank you.
Yep, nope, we'll get right on it.
Got it.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about superintendent annual evaluations. So the last time we looked at this, we had a general outline that we borrowed from the New York State School Boards Association. And so Dr. Costa and her assistant and I have met and basically have taken and put in our own detailed standards. So we've got, so let's see, Standard 1, Vision, Culture, and Instructional Leadership. Standard 2, Operations, Resource, and Personnel Management. We've gone through and put in our own possible data sources specific to SAU90. Standard 3 is Board Governance and Policy. Standard 4 is Communication and Community Relations. Standard 5 is Ethical Leadership. Then there's basically a description of what a SMART goal is and how it works. So our proposal is basically that this is what we would use to evaluate Dr. Costa's performance as a superintendent. So I don't know if you guys had a chance to look through this, if anybody has any comments on it, any questions, again, typos, anything like that you are interested in. I think there is a recommended timeline in the front, which I had and I've already forgotten. It's going to be page 6, with the idea being that we're actually pretty on track. Summer was that the superintendent would work with the leadership team and the board to start working on goals and core values, which we just talked about. Superintendent's professional development plan is reviewed, define goals. Bless you. I think we are essentially going to use the SAU's goals for you as your goals,
Yep,
essentially.
That's what you've done.
So we're into fall. Bless you. So I guess, does anybody have any questions or comments about the process, the timeline, and kind of how it's all set up? This is not something we necessarily need to vote on. We just wanted to make sure. It will be something that you will all need to participate in. We will have offline meetings to go through this, to look at the data points, to discuss it with each other, and then to sit down once we have everything filled out and to discuss it with Dr. Costa. Which is, it's new. It's a very new, this whole thing is a very new process for us. So. Any questions or comments?
Like, when we participate in, is that something that we all meet and we all collaborate together?
I think,
Individually do that?
I think we should do it all together. I know that when my first year, they emailed me this list, and, you went through meets, exceeds, and half of them, I had no idea. And so I think sitting down together and going through, like I said, we're going to have data we can look at, district strategic plan, student performance data. We can kind of look through all of that together, and then we can take some time at the end to sit and actually fill it out and have our own comments and our own sort of ratings on each one. But I think, to me, that makes the most sense. And I would think, again, that's something we're going to do after the budget is all done, that we could maybe look at doing that in December, January. Does that work for everybody? All right. And I would say, too, if anybody from the public is interested in this, so we do have this as a document, you're welcome to take a look at it, see how it goes, see what our various standards are. You're welcome to contact the SAU office, and they can email you a copy of it.
It'll be in the minutes.
And it'll be in the minutes. That is true. All right. Outdated library materials, say it isn't so.
So that, you have a letter from Mary Saunders dated September 18th, and just permission to weed from the collection. She has put a bulleted list together for you
Yes.
of things that she'd like to remove.
Do we know actually who, so does she have an organization that is coming to take them? There are a number of organizations, Better World Books, Baker and Taylor used to, but they just went out of business. If no one knows, that's fine. That's just me being nerdy librarian. That's all. Oh, yeah. It's fine. Thank you. Awesome. As part of the, do we need to actually vote and approve that that is okay for her to?
You could, make it official, right?
Sure. Because it's a policy, okay.
Yep.
All right, so would someone like to make a motion that it is, or that we approve Mary Saunders to dispose of the weeded books from the Hampton Academy Library as she deems fit?
I motion to support Mary Saunders in her removal of the library items as she deems fit.
All right, I will second that one. Any questions? All in favor? Oh, do you have a question? I'm sorry.
I didn't know if you
Oh,
had
okay,
a second.
that's okay.
Yeah, okay, you second it.
All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, school board secretary, Dr. Costa.
So Danny has done a really great job with the minutes in the last year, and we really appreciate it, but she's finding that she's just unable to do this in the time that's required. It's supposed to be within 5 days, and I think given her children and their schedules, and when she can't meet it, she just feels terrible about it. And so she came to us to basically say that she does need to step down from that. We were fortunate enough that I think Mariah had a conversation with the school secretary at Marsden School, Karen, and she said that she is willing to do it and she would be happy to do it. So Danny finished up September's meeting, but moving forward, it would be Karen that would continue doing these meetings for us, unless anybody has any reservations. But these are hard to fill. Just so you know, we went for a while with not having anyone. Once we lost Colleen Poison, who had been doing them, and it took us a while to find Danny. And so the fact that Karen is willing to do it and works in our district, we'd be happy to have her as long as you all felt comfortable with the decision. So.
To vote on that, do we need to do anything with that? We don't hire that position. That's you're just letting us know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, there are a lot of free AI tools that will at least give her a better starting place, where it will take the transcript and then organize it, and she can, I don't know if that's something that we permit, but it may be.
Well, we have a
helpful
new
supplement.
AI policy we're voting on tonight, just to throw that out there.
Let's just throw that little,
Just saying.
caveat in there.
As long as it's used, as a tool, and it's a starting point, like to your point. And I think that, it's depending on how comfortable she feels with it, but
I mean, this is a
definitely.
public meeting,
Yeah.
so, it's not.
Right, you
There's
could
not
literally,
privacy
you could
issues
take
with
the
it.
recording online,
Yep.
pop it into an AI
Yep.
tool, and then have it organize the
We are a
transcript.
Google shop, so I'm guessing that they could look
Gemini.
at
Yeah.
Gemini.
Yeah.
For sure.
Danny did say it does take probably anywhere, depending on the length of the meeting, 3 to 5 hours, so.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
this is a little, it is time consuming, because you want it to be right and you want it to be reflective, so even with that, So I just wanted to let you know.
Appreciate that.
Just as somebody who's done minutes for various boards
Yes.
and committees in town, thank you so much to anyone who steps up for it.
100%.
Yeah.
They are horrifying.
Yes.
And if you're someone who has any tendency to procrastinate, I know are personally my worst nightmare.
Yeah, no, and we appreciate Danny,
Yeah.
finishing them up for September and then passing the baton, and we're grateful that Karen's willing to step into that. So absolutely, thank you. Yeah.
Don't really have anything. We did have a little enrollment dip.
Yeah, but I think it was just because it was the students that didn't return or had left, so it's pretty flat, is what I was looking at.
Yep.
I think the change when you go from June to September makes sense. 'Cause
Yeah,
kids
it does.
move or change. Grade 6, that just looks a little odd to me, September to October.
I know.
Is that unusual that we
Yeah.
we have any insight on that, or is it something we should know, or?
That, should we discuss that in non-public at the end?
The fact that it's, you mean, are we looking at 114? Is that what we're looking at,
Yes,
that number?
the drop of 7 students in 6th
I
grade,
think it was just
just the way it goes.
the moving and everything else, yeah. I don't think it was anything related to anything more than just, yeah. I do know, some people did make a choice to go to a private school, but not a lot. I only knew of a couple. In fact, our numbers at Sacred Heart are down.
Are down significantly.
Our
yeah.
homeschoolers are down. So the numbers look about right. Yeah. Give or take.
Okay. Mrs. Curtis. Hi.
Oh. So, just been trying to get the budget books done. However, you'll have the September report in for our finances. Most of our major items are budgeted for to date. Grants are just got some money in, so it was about half, and we're still waiting for a lot of those to get approved and put in. So right now, we're just writing the grants and trying to get that approved. Food service, you'll see that statement. However, we have not received state revenues yet, so that will look off until that happens. And then just the small revenue report that we do every month. We did get a date change. December 11th at 6 o'clock will be the presentation to the town for the budget committee at the town hall. If we want to mark the calendars, but since I've made my school board report, I've pretty much finished your budget book, and that calendar update is in your budget book. So you'll see the whole calendar update in there. Everything in your budget book is done except for the following, and I'll get those ready for you for tomorrow. But I don't have the 26-27 draft calendar yet. I need to get the goals for you to put in there, enrollment and class size analysis, cost per pupil by district, average class size per district. The CIP is not completed yet. We've had a couple of issues with that, going back and forth on how we want to do funding. I just got some information about our roof, and, oh yes, and.
Whose roof?
Marston's roof. Yeah.
Yeah.
And a few other things that Tim and I will be going through for you. So I'll have that pretty much buttoned up, I hope, tomorrow. And then I sent out an email to Sacred Heart because I haven't received anything about if they're going to petition a warrant article this year or not. So those are the few items that I try to have buttoned up for you for tomorrow, other than I usually do a front sheet that has a breakdown of the major items, major items financially, what changed in default and then for proposed. So, and it's a quick view rather than having to go through every single account. There's a lot of information in that budget book. If there are other items you need or want me to bring, we can go through that tomorrow. but should be all there, other than the few items that I talked about. I am gonna talk to you guys about health insurance. I was gonna talk about the rates, but I was gonna talk to you about the stuff that's going on in the news with school care and health trust.
Yep.
We have health trust, just in case nobody realized that, but we have health trust. Last year, everybody that had health trust was in a world of anxiety because of the House bill that they were trying to pass last year, due to capping out reserves that you could hold, and because they're a nonprofit organization. That bill did not pass. We were fine. What Health Trust decided to do is to do a 5-year plan and add 5% to everybody for 5 years to their rate. That way they can build their reserve slowly, not all at once. They talked about last year, if they weren't able to do that and they couldn't have a reserve, then we would be in the same predicament that school care is in. So what happened was, during COVID, nobody had claims. There were no claims. The people weren't going to the doctors for almost a year or longer. And then all of a sudden, we're back in. And we're back in with a lot of claims and rates that have gone up, with expenditures that have gone up. So the reserves went plummeting down, and they didn't have the funds to cover all the claims that were going into the insurance. So last year during the conversation, school care, because we met with both companies and they discussion because of the House bill. School care said they were fine. They had plenty of reserves. They weren't going to have any issues.
Really?
Yeah. And
So they were wrong.
and that they were going to be fine and not to worry. And Health Trust was very concerned because we need higher reserves. Things have gotten out of like so much more expensive, and we're going to have to put the extra claims on the vendors, like on us, if they don't have the reserves to cover it. So their goal was 5% extra to each person that was part of it. So last year, our rates were like 11 point
I wanna say
something
11,
percent. And that was decent, right? So they sent out an email at the couple weeks ago saying that their rates were going to be anywhere from -5% to 26%. And so I'm thinking we're going to be in like the 18 to 20, since we were 11 last year, and we're not. Our average is 3%. Very happy with that. Oh yes. Health. They changed last year on how they do our rates. So they don't do it at a bulk anymore. They do it by plan. So each plan is different. So one plan is 12.9%, not many people on it. 1%, one plan is 6.5%. I think we have 5 people on that plan.
Okay.
The biggest plan that we have is 1.9%. And then the other is 2.2. So, and then -1.3 for our Medicomp, which is for our retirees. So averagely together, it's 3%. If you take Medicomp out, it's 3.1. I don't think that's bad.
That's amazing.
Far better than many districts.
Far better than many districts
yes, because
fared.
if we had health,
Yeah.
if we had school care right now, what people were getting for letters is you will be getting a bill for about 1.5% of your monthly bill. Our monthly bill is $450,000. So 1.5% of that, we'd be in the million. And
That was for now, too,
That's
right?
for now.
It
They
wasn't next year.
No, they
We're
have
talking
to
about
pay
our
it
increases sort of for next year.
next year.
Right. They
have to pay that bill now.
Yes.
And
It's
that
horrible.
bill is for last year's expenses.
Yeah.
On top of everything else that they paid for.
Yep. Yep.
There are two ways that they're allowing the schools to do that, if you have the funds. So for us, we had a fund balance of $250,000 that we were giving back to the town. And then we put money in our retainage, and our retainage is $757,000-ish dollars. If we combined those two, we still wouldn't have had enough money to cover that bill.
The school choice. If
School choice. If we were on school choice.
Yes.
We wouldn't have been able to
Not
cover it.
school care, not where we are now.
So that's just, it's concerning when people ask, why do you have such a high amount in retainage? And I say, I don't think we have a high amount. I keep it pretty low. It's like at 50% of what we could have it at. And so these are the reasons why we did this. And then I don't think people really realize how scary that can be, because just one bill like that can, like, I don't know what they're gonna do. So a lot of schools are they're allowing the schools to pull their DOE 25, make the adjustment if they want to, and take their fund balance and cover that bill or percentage of the bill. And if it doesn't cover it, figure out what your budget this year will be able to cover it. I'm so glad that we don't have to deal with that.
Yep.
We're very lucky. I was concerned last year because we had Health Trust and they weren't sure if they were going to stay open if the House bill passed.
Yep.
I don't know if we're going to have that same problem, because I don't know if that House bill is going to come back around, but I can guarantee you that it might. But having conversations with all the BAs in our region, some people are have looked outsourcing and then hiring, and you need like almost 2 employees to manage health insurance if you outsourced it and you brought it in. And then even changing plans to other vendors, there's only maybe 1 or 2 other vendors that would really work for a school district. And your rates are really good that first year, but then it goes through because it's like that, they pull you in and then it goes through the roof for 3 years later, right? So I'm kind of hoping, one, we have a union agreements for these plans, so we kind of need to stay, but I'm hoping that Health Trust can work with the state, keep the House bill where it needs to be. I understand that they need to have reserves that's higher than what they have. I wish people would understand that with the way the economy is right now and how everything has medication and everything and bills have gone up, that they would understand that we need higher reserves for our claims. But I just wanted to fill you in where we are at with that, because it's been a huge topic.
It's been the conversation around the state. We were at the Kidder Long Conference last week, and the question came up, do you have a retainage? That's the first question they're asking, because if you don't, you have no place to go. I mean, you're seeing Claremont is closing a school. You're seeing that teachers are getting laid off at this time of year. It is a big deal. I think it speaks to, your foresight, Mariah, and putting the retainage in and
Absolutely.
trying to add money to it. And Molly, you were there for that conversation, and it was a good conversation to have with the Budget Committee. They want to do their due diligence and ask the hard question, but at the same time, what we're trying to do is we are hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. And healthcare is one of those ones where we just don't know. That's one of those rising costs that's really about claims. And we're a small district. It doesn't take a lot to kind of put us upside down. And that's why doing these wellness initiatives is hopefully sending a message. It's never going to be enough, right? But at the same time, it's something that we do pay attention to, and we're hoping that people are taking care of themselves, right? That's the first thing. If we can get people to take care of themselves, that's preventative, and that's going to go a long way. But I'm really pleased that we've been able to do this. I think it's it's working out for our district, and I'm really pleased that the numbers came in, because we were with our colleagues on that day, talking with them as they were getting their rates anywhere from 15 to 20+% increase. So to be where we were, we're like, it was some good news. So we don't always get a lot of good news when it comes to money and healthcare and these things, but this was good news for us. So thank you.
I definitely want to make sure I have a deep grasp on this subject because it was such a big topic. The retainage was such a big topic. I want to make sure I fully understand this so I can appropriately advocate with the budget committee. So like, if you have any time to like have coffee, or if you have any resources you can send me on the subject, I'm happy to.
Feel free just to call me, set up an appointment. You can come in.
Perfect.
I can go over it. I have all the information when we originally signed up for it, what the state sends me every year because it's by your budget, and it's a percentage of your budget that you can hold.
Okay.
And they will give you a letter that says this is how much you can retain this year. And then you just have to figure out like your fund balance, but then you bring all the retainage that you originally held, it has to go back into your fund balance. And then you have to figure out a new retainage. Right. So it's not like I sit there and I keep adding and adding and adding. You revise it every year. And I think that's where some of the confusion gets, because I think that that people assume that you're just holding money. And it's not. You have to really think about what you're going to hold and not hold every year. You can't just keep that money and add it. And the other reason why it's a good process is if your town is used to you giving funds back every year, and all of a sudden you don't have funds to give back, you can give back that retainage because it becomes your fund balance again. So it can like offset taxes too. So like if you have a year where you have a really high retainage and you know that you want to get the roof fixed at Marston School, and you can give that retainage back. So it is like.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to, especially with the health trust information, I want to make sure that I can fully articulate that to
Feel free
everybody.
to make an appointment with me.
The words that they use in the budget committee meetings was slush fund. And that's not what this
It's really
is.
for a catastrophe or unexpected, right?
And I
Expense.
think the idea of it resetting every year eased the year that we proposed it, because we've only had it. This is our third year.
Yep.
Third year.
And I think they all felt a lot better when we did explain that it resets every year. It does not get bigger and bigger like there's a town fund that does.
There's
It is
no
not like
rollover.
Well,
the
and you
fee-
can't,
exactly.
you can't
Correct.
just use it. So it's not like reserved funds that you're holding because you didn't use it, and then you can use it for the road that didn't get fixed. You actually, I have to put it in the newspaper, and we have to have a vote, like, to be able to spend the funds. It's very, like, law-based.
Yeah, no, I think that they should, I definitely will sit down or I'll talk to you about it and make sure I can articulate, because I understand it for sure. I want to make sure I can articulate it to them, especially now that I've heard some of the concerns on their side, and like, they don't know, I would assume they're not fully privy to like what's going on with the rates for the healthcare and things like that, so.
Yeah. So how's our federal money doing, my friend?
So our federal money is, we got a percentage of IDA preschool, Title I, and we were supposed to receive the other funds last week, and we had not. I have not checked it today. I can check it real quick. But we've not received them as of yet. The state supposedly received them. I just don't think that we have.
Oh, so they funnel through, the federal government sends them to the state, and they send them on to us? Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
I think that we might just not have the manpower to push it
Correct.
through
No one
yet.
works in that department anymore.
At
all.
Let me just double check. We did get a new grant in today 3,000 per school for.
That's Discovery Ed.
Yeah, Discovery Ed, which was cool. That came in today.
Yep.
I did see that.
I know you keep a really close eye on that. Feel free to let us know so that we can
Title
work,
I, it
so that
looks
we
like
can worry
Title
with
I,
you.
We just received all their funds in Title I.
Oh, that's
What about Title II?
Title II, let's see. Title II.
That's the one we hadn't,
We have not received anything in Title
nothing.
II yet.
nothing.
Title III, they just started allocating, but I have not gotten anything because that goes through a different school. We
Consolidate.
consolidated.
Which of those are special ed? I know IDEA is special ed.
Yep, IDEA preschool. Title I is more for homeless.
Okay.
Based on
And
McKinney-Vento
MV,
numbers.
Gotcha.
that's free and reduced.
Yep.
And
Title II is professional
professional
development.
development.
Okay.
Yep,
Title III is ESOL.
yep.
And Title IV is related to, it could be technology, it could be related to social emotional learning, responsive classroom. That was what we were going to use Seacoast Youth
Unified.
Services for.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we usually use some of the money for unified sports.
Yes,
We've
and that
done.
too.
Yep,
Yep, for the middle school.
yep.
I think one of the things we're going to need to talk about tomorrow and as we go through the budget process is what are we going to do if the IDEA money
We have a
doesn't
plan.
come
Yep.
next year?
We've already
Excellent.
kind of,
All right.
we've
We
been
have a
thinking about it.
plan.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. Excellent. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Did you have anything else?
No, that's, it's a lot.
Okay, it is a lot.
You guys will get to see that tomorrow.
We do have one, well, actually, just a quick note. So Mariah did bring up the meeting, so we do have the schedule. So particularly for our new members, so we do have this. So this is sort of our Bible. It will get changed and updated over the next few months. Most of these dates will be things that the full board will need to be there for, so just so everybody is aware. It's a lot. So, just so everybody is aware. Great. We have one resignation that makes me incredibly sad. I'm sorry, you're right. It is,
Retirement.
you're right. It is a retirement. It still makes me very sad.
me too.
Please share.
Yep. So in your packet, you have a letter from Allison Griffin, who is a library media specialist at Marston School. Wonderful, wonderful person. Great. I can't say enough nice things about her. She is going to retire at the end of this year and enjoy the next chapter of her life, as she says. You know, so she had talked to me a little bit about it last year, and I knew it was coming, and she goes, I want to be mindful of giving you this information so that you can plan appropriately. So she did have it for this month. It's just the kind of a professional she is. So
I would actually like to move to accept Allison Griffin's retirement with tremendous regret. She has been a really, really great asset to our community, and I'm very sad to see her go.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
thank you.
And actually, this is probably a good time to put a bug in everyone's ears that if you are planning to retire, November 1st is when your letters are due, please. Don't want anybody to go, but please don't retire at the end of May. That'd be great. Thanks. Just
Thanks,
saying.
Wendy. Thank you.
All right, job descriptions.
Yep, just an opportunity for you to take a peek at them. Obviously, you know, they're somewhat boilerplate. We did have the principals look at these, the food service director looked at these, the technology director, all the department heads looked at them, so that we could make sure they reflect what the current job descriptions are. So please take a look. If you notice something that you want changed, we're more than willing to do what needs to be done to reflect the work that's being done. So, for your review.
They're marked as first read. Do we need to vote on those?
I think we should, since
Okay.
you, because these are positions that you're filling, so
Okay.
you might want to.
All right. So everybody take a look, and we will.
It's been a long time.
We'll vote on those.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm happy they did this.
Yep.
And we'll take a look and vote on those next month.
Thank you.
All right. Policy review. So let's see, we've got a combination of first reads and second reads. So let's see, I'm assuming we're kind of in order.
Yep.
The first one, 10.6, parental bill of rights, I think is the first one.
Yep.
That we actually have to vote
Yep.
on.
Yep.
Yep.
That's the first one on, yep, BBAA. Oh, no. I think our first one is BBAA.
We're looking for, I think, AB, it looks like, would be, there it is.
Oh, the second read.
Yep.
That would
Yeah,
be-
so I'm looking for the one. So we've
Those are last
got
month.
school board member authority, board member or district officer resignation,
Mm-hmm.
accident reports, and class size. Actually, do we want to talk about class size at all? Because what changes are we making to class size?
We're just putting the recommended class sizes, we talked about this, into the policy that the School Boards Association is recommending.
Okay.
I think that's where we landed, but please correct me. if I'm
Well,
wrong.
I think, mostly I just want everybody to take a look at it and sort of know what they're voting on next month. We had a very vague, relatively vague policy before, and this is just bulking it up,
Yep.
essentially, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we are voting on AB, New Hampshire Parental Bill of Rights, which is based on a new state, an updated state law.
Yep.
Meeting minutes, use of generative artificial intelligence, field trips and excursions, unauthorized communication devices, and progress reports to parents, which is actually, that's one we're pulling, right?
It's no longer a required policy, so we do them anyways. It's just our way of, again, trying to communicate with parents.
Yep.
So we're going to keep it. You probably saw on the board reports that those will come out in
Yep.
the next few weeks. So, but it's no longer a board policy, so that it's been pulled.
Okay.
It doesn't mean our practices will change. It just means it's no longer a New Hampshire School Board policy.
Does anyone have any questions on the second reads that we're going to vote on?
Sorry, are we
Okay.
voting on school board member authority?
Yes, let's see. No, so.
Okay, right.
Yep, BBAA, BBBC, E, BBB, and, let's see, IIB and IJ are all first reads, so we'll vote on those next month. So the first one we're voting on is in the list is AB. So does anybody have any specific questions about the text, comments, changes? Do we want to vote on these individually? We can do it as, all at once is fine with me.
Would you repeat those one more time?
Of course. So we need to approve AB, New Hampshire Parental Bill of Rights, BEDG, meeting minutes, EHAG, use of generative artificial intelligence, IJOA, field trips and excursions, JICJ, unauthorized communication devices, And we would be voting to rescind IKAA, which is progress reports to parents.
Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's getting-
It is a lot.
Yep.
But several of these are state laws that we need the policies to.
Yeah, most of these came out of the spring updates that Erin kind of jumped on, and then we looked at, and then, of course, we'll have the fall that will come. So just trying to stay on top of the changes that are coming fast and furious, right?
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve all these policies.
Okay. Do I have a second? Okay, Molly seconded. Okay, all those in favor? Okay. All right, and we will take a look at the other ones, read through them, and we will vote on those next month.
Can I ask a question about?
Of course.
BBAA, School Board Member Authority. Why were these taken out, these two paragraphs at the bottom taken out?
So that was what it was originally. What she's done is shown you how it has changed from what it was back in 2022 to what it is now.
But I think she's saying why the change?
Why?
Oh, just so that you can see the changes.
No, but why are we making
Why are we
the
taking
change?
out
Why
that
is that
each
text
board member
coming
shall
out?
review the agenda and
Is it
study
just
material?
a
Why is that
change
being
from
taken out?
the school board association?
Yes,
Is
it
it a
is.
law? Is
Yeah.
it- okay.
Oh, that's a change from the
So
school
it's a
board
recommendation.
association.
That's right.
Okay.
That's why.
Gotcha.
And I think what Erin tries to do is to show you how the New Hampshire School Boards Association is
Right.
changing it.
Yes.
So that you can see them both and know what it was
No,
to
I-
what they're recommending.
I see that, but I guess I don't agree with those being taken out, that's all.
I know,
Well-
right, it is kind of interesting.
Well, and then you've got the legal references and the RSA, so
Okay.
I'm counting on this New Hampshire School Boards Association, who has never steered us wrong, right? That
Okay.
they're doing their due diligence to provide us with.
I know.
But you can always hold it and have that discussion during when's your next
Yeah, so we're-
policy meeting?
Well, we don't all go to the policy meeting, is the only thing. Yes, I don't love all of these changes. I see exactly what you're talking about.
I mean, I think I'll be honest with you. It's taken out that every member shall review the agenda and study materials distributed
Yep.
prior to the meeting.
Yep.
I think every member should do that.
Yep.
So I don't think that should be taken out.
Could we change it to it is recommended? I think this pertains back to when we met with Will.
Yep.
And he said, unfortunately, the board has no authority, really. Someone could be elected and never show up to anything. They could sit in their chair and play video games all night.
right.
So I think it's just likely that that language was unenforceable, but not that there's risk involved with it. So we could put something softer there, like it is recommended or it is expected.
We can certainly, we meet on October 20th.
Well, I
It'll be
guess
next week.
here's my request. I'm curious what you think of this.
I'm sorry.
I said, my request is, Lois, I'm sorry, I know you have a million other things to do. Would you check in with Will and ask him about these changes? And ask him if there is any downside to us leaving in the text?
You're talking about the last 3 paragraphs, correct?
Yes.
Yep, I can ask.
And, he may have a great recommendation.
Yeah, that's easy.
And,
I can do that.
and then
Yep.
we'll talk about it next month.
And again, to soften it, I agree, it could be recommended.
Yes, sure.
Very unexpected.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I think what he has said to me is they try to keep them in line with the laws, but at the same time, general enough so that the individual boards can do what they feel they need to do.
Yep.
So there's a lot of interpretation. There's room for interpretation. So I don't think he would, I've heard him say, God bless you, I've heard him say that you can always add more, just be careful.
Yep.
Like, you don't want to add something, like you said, that's not enforceable.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I bet when we talk to him that this is just gonna be, it's just a recommendation. I do not think that there were any state laws
Yep.
passed this year
Right.
about this. And I think we have the option as a board to say, this is what we expect.
Yep.
We are not saying, we would try to remove somebody, but I think it's fair for us to set our own expectations for
Yep.
how we are gonna conduct
Yep.
ourselves as board members.
And he would be fine with,
Yeah.
it's my guess
So-
is he would be fine with it. And we can, once I get that information, I'll call him, and the next day, when we meet on the 20th, we can talk about it. How does
Yep.
that sound?
And then pass that along to us for
Yep.
next month.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yep, we will. So we'll keep that as a first read. Well, actually, that's fine
Yeah.
anyways. Yeah, we're good with that.
Anybody else have any more questions or concerns about our first reads?
BBBB? Okay.
Cool. All right.
We can always revisit it if you want to talk. We've got a few right now, we're running through Primex, just because, in legal, just because we have a few questions on some of the policies that are coming down.
Yep.
There's some interesting ones, so.
All right, consent agenda. We are going to consider the minutes of board meeting September 9th and policy meeting September 22nd. I think that's it. We didn't have non-public last.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from September 9th as indicated.
All right. Do I have a second?
I actually have a painfully
That's okay.
nitpicky change on 9.1 under nominations.
Yes.
I'm referred to as Ms. St. Jean, and it should be Mrs. It's just the only one in there that's different.
Cool. Well, I think I will say technically, Ms. is still accurate. You can. Right. So they have you as.
Yeah, what page is that,
She
Molly?
said it was under 9.1.
Okay, we'll make sure we fix it for you.
Oh, I see. One is Ms. and one is Mrs.
And what-
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
page what of what?
5 of 6.
5 of 6.
Page 5 of 6, I'm right there.
I personally wish for all of us that they would switch to Ms. It's a personal thing. I've always been irritated. I couldn't tell you why. I'm married. I'm totally okay with it. But somehow it has always irritated me that everything school board related, I am Mrs. Riga. I personally like Ms., but anyway.
Now that we have,
Yes, maybe we can make that switch.
let it be known, universe.
Sure.
So, Molly, you want Mrs., is that what it is?
She just wanted to be consistent.
Just
It
consistency.
says Mrs.
You can
in
change
the
them all to
third
Ms. You can
paragraph,
keep them
and
all
it says
Mrs.
Ms. in the first.
What do you go by?
I know. The formality of this, I think for all of us has always been, it's a lot. It does. Yes, ma'am, it does.
Captain Elliott.
Captain, okay. CHT for short?
All right. I like it.
I'll just ask
All
her to,
Are we all set to, I don't think we voted on that. Are we good with that change? Is everybody,
Yes.
anything else? All right. All in favor? All right.
I have to abstain.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. We are almost there.
Do we need to
Is
vote on
anyone?
policy minutes separately?
No, not unless somebody voted against them. You can just be abstained from both, it's fine. Okay.
didn't even put a time, see?
Do we have anyone here for public comment on agenda items? Seeing none. Do we have a reason for non-public session?
I do not. Do you?
Okay, if you need to, just call for one, that's all you have to do. You say, okay. Do I have a motion to move into
Under personnel?
non-public?
Is it under personnel?
Okay, so
Oh.
under student privacy?
Yep.
Okay,
So yep.
okay, so
Let's do
we
it.
are calling a non-public session under RSA 91-A:3 2, and we are hoping that was it Karen? Is that our new secretary?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that Karen will find the exact letter under A through M that is student privacy. Roll call vote, please. Yes, yes. Okay. All right. We're in non-public?
SAU.
We are back from non-public. We got our light on. Would someone like to make a motion? All right.
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.